Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of the B58 swap series. We've got a 1999 E36 and we're gonna be swapping a 3-liter B58, this is a Gen 2 B58, into this car. What we're gonna be doing in this video is primarily mechanical. We are not gonna be doing the entire swap and we're not gonna be getting it started or anything like that. We wanna show proof of concept of getting the actual drivetrain in the chassis. What type of mechanical interferences are there? What kind of brackets are required, and then we're gonna sell those brackets on our website. If you take a look at the link down in the description, you'll see that we are actually selling these brackets on our website for production. Deliveries in January of 2026. Right now, we're taking the 8 HP 50Z and bolting it onto the block of the B58, and we're gonna end up taking that whole assembly. We're gonna be taking our mounts, which we think might fit already, not sure, and we're just gonna slide this thing right into the E36 chassis and just see what happens. While we're making final preparations to get the B58 drivetrain into this E36, I want to thank Details Used Cars. They provided this E36 for the research and development of the B58 swap here. Details is a really great used car dealership that specializes in BMWs, old, modern, and new. If you're interested in getting one that's kind of specific or it's an enthusiast-owned car, Ryan is the guy to find the car for you. Very good, he's an enthusiast himself and he races E36s on the local tracks here in the Northeast. Really great guy, really great guys to work with, and it will give you a really good deal. Now let's get this B58 in. Right now we're just trying to make sure that on our load leveler there that we get the B58 leveled and parallel to the transmission so that we can just slide it on and just put a couple of bolts on there. These are M12 by 175. And there's very common for the B58 block. We're just going to put them on and get going from there. And to that point, we actually do have plans to get this thing started for the B48 and the B58. We've got an FEM module, we've got a DME, we've got a power supply module, we've got everything we need, and then some more stuff on the way in order to get this thing started on factory internals, factory hardware. Stuff that you can buy on eBay for like $700 or $800, which is actually way cheaper than alternative standalone units. So we're going to be doing that in future episodes. This is all just mechanical stuff. So this is our E36 B58 passenger bracket. It's supposed to clear the exhaust, and it does. I know it does. Actually, it kind of sits like that, actually. And we're going to be installing it on the B58 block, and we're hoping that the holes will line up in order to fit on the E46 just similarly as it did for the B48 setup. But yeah, these brackets have standoffs on this side. You can see them right there. There's two on the top. That goes in the two top bolts that are a little bit longer than the bottom ones. And on the driver's side, we're installing this one here, which is similar. This one has no standoffs, much easier setup, much easier to install. On this side, it looks like everything's in. No. All right, so what we're gonna do is grab the top and put it on and just see how the top fits. We still have the transmission propped up because we didn't put the mount for the transmission on yet, but I did want to see exactly how this is gonna fit. Pretty good. Okay, let's bring it up and see how level it is when we look at the 8 HP oil pan and see how level that is. That's going to help really determine whether or not this driveline is good in at least that axis. One more. Perfect. Take a look and see what we got going on. We got to bring the transmission up a little bit and see how level that is. Okay, now we're just propping up the transmission here. It actually does look really nice. I'm very impressed. Final position? The transmission looks really level. I'm not sure if the drive line is going to line up yet until we actually put the, that guy right there, we're going to put the drive shaft on. When we put the drive shaft on, we'll know exactly how it sits in the center of this tunnel. Looks really good though. I mean, I think it's going to fit really nicely. So we can just throw that on there and then just see what transmission bracket would work. I think I have a pretty good idea on which one might work here. Now we've got the B58 with the engine cover on. We've got the engine brackets from the E36 B58 installed on the passenger side and the driver's side. And there are no interferences. There might be a little bit of a close proximity here with the power steering line. And you might need to do some shaving of the subframe on the upper gusset there. But overall, it's very, very minimal. I have very high confidence that we've got a really good setup here using existing parts. So we've got a very clear subframe to oil pan clearance. Don't worry about that hole, that was from the E30 work. The 8 HP is sitting really nice and level. We've got our drive line installed, our front half drive shaft rather, and it is bolted on nice and tight, and it is sitting really nice and smack in the center of the center bearing. So we've gotten our front half drive shaft dimensions, which is important for this engine swap to let you guys know how long your custom drive shaft needs to be. As you can see, this one is way too long, but it sits really nice and centered in the drive shaft, in the drive line. And of course, we've got the E36 N54 bracket. Now this bracket is already used in application. We've already mass produced these. These are already built, and we already provide these in the link down in the description if you're interested in doing an N54 or N55 swap with a GS6 53BZ. Here we've got an 8 HP automatic transmission. It's an 8 HP 50Z, and this will work perfectly with rubber mounts. Okay, fitment looks really, really good. Everything looks really nice and level here on the engine cover. We're actually able to fit the air cowling piece on the back of the firewall very easily. We've got a lot of space up front for activities here between the front flywheel and the area where the core support installs, which is awesome. Now we're installing our hood shocks, our hood hinges here, so we can get the hood on and see how this thing would close. Now, understandably, we don't have a fender here, but we do have one on that side. We can at least see if there is going to be an interference, maybe put like a block or something up here. It doesn't really matter anyway, because this looks like this car was in some sort of an accident, so it's not really a perfect candidate for this type of stuff anyway. Anyway, very good. Let's get that hood on. All right, so we've got the hood installed. It's loosely installed, I mean, it's tight, but we've got just a couple of shims, the standard number of shims that's required. We did have to take the cover off because the cover does hit. It hits on these louvers. Now I'm wondering if these louvers are something that is an exception to the rule, and without them it wouldn't hit the cover, but I do feel like perhaps, you know, if you don't have the louvers, you've got these gussets that kind of go across. So maybe there's some modifications you're going to need to make if you did want to fit this in, you know, with the cover. But without the cover, give it a close. You'll see here, it does sit kind of nicely. His hand is right over here. It kind of shows what it would look like. Maybe a little hot. Maybe it could be a little lower even, you know, just to show what it would look like. And over here, it doesn't hit. You know, everything looks good. Right? So you can go even a little bit higher if you really wanted to. And over here, you can see underneath there that you've got almost like, it's almost touching with the louver. So if you were to shave off some of that engine, you know, some of the hood on the inside, I think you'd actually be okay. But, you know, when you're doing an engine swap like this with a large engine with so much electronics and systems in it, it's just hard to justify not making some changes to the chassis to accommodate. So yeah, this thing actually kind of fits, which is nice. I mean, there's a little bit of interference here and there. Overall interferences on this is a little bit on the power steering line. The subframe gusset where the power steering rack mounts might need to be gusseted or cut a little bit. That's it, no big deal there. We can use the E36 and E46 B58 mounts as exactly the same parts, which is amazing. And for the transmission on the 8 HP 50Z, we can use the E36 N54 bracket that we have. All of this is for sale on our website. You can pre-order the B58 stuff for this, and it'll be available in January. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this thing out, we're gonna take a look at the parts, and we'll show you exactly what it is that you're gonna be receiving when you do place an order with us. So here we are, guys, right back where we started in an empty engine bay. The B58 is now done. We've gotten the mechanical parts done. Next is gonna end up being the electrical and the detailed integration with these types of swaps in this series. And I'm talking about E30, E36, E46, and when we do the E90, that'll be included as well. Into the E46, the E36, the E30, and the E90X, including the E91, the E92, the E93. We're going to be doing a first start on the B48 and the B58 in a bench setup with the standard stock ECU, DME, the FEM, the power supply module, and the key, and see if we can just get this thing to run without doing a very expensive aftermarket Motec setup that is going to basically take this drivetrain swap quite far out of reach for many people. So here we're going to be doing that on this channel over the course of 2026, and I am really just glad that you guys are here. Thanks a lot for supporting me. Really appreciate it. I'm out of here, guys. Thanks.